Nigel, we're in the business of providing independent trusteeships, and it's a core part of our business at Covisory Trust Services. But in today's environment, do you think that like an independent trustee is actually still relevant, especially considering the changes coming up with the new Trust Act?
Well, it's certainly interesting, Marcus, isn't it? Because a lot of lawyers and accountants don't want to be trustees anymore. For years they've done it. They haven't actually charged for it or actually treated the role seriously. So the first thing is, I think, looking at it from the professional side of things, you've got to be in it or out of it. And we're certainly in it. So we don't fear trustees being trustees, and we don't fear the relationship with beneficiaries. I think that independent trustees can add a lot of value. And as you and I know from some of our dealings, the first thing is you've got to actually engage with the family, don't we? We've got to know what's going on.
Well, and that's right. And a lot of trusts that we've taken over from other professionals, it's always been a very hands-off approach by the independent trustee, hasn't it? It's, the lawyer or accountant have put the structure in place and so on, and they've very much like left the mum and dad who have settled the trust to their own devices to actually...
Mum and dad?
Well, possibly.
Yeah, normally just dad. Dad makes all the decisions. And see, that's the point, isn't it? We give that independence. We're not part of the family. And we've both had a couple of cases lately where, say, mum and dad wanted to help a child or a grandchild out to get into a house. They go to loan some money, which would be good advice, but the bank says, no, it can't be a loan. We'll take that into account for LVR. So all of a sudden, mum and dad are talking about gifting money, which is understandable. But had they come and talked to us before they did it, we'd have probably said, let's do a relationship property agreement so that if that relationship breaks up, that money still goes back to their child. Half of it doesn't work out with the in-law, the son-in-law or grandchild-in-law or daughter-in-law or whatever it may be. And it's having been in those experiences that I think we can add value. And sometimes it's not being part of the family that makes it easier for us.
That's right.
Because we've got no bias or preconceived views. We're going to look at the deed, look at the family and say, what would someone do in an ordinary course of business here?
Yep.
So look, there is probably benefit in having an independent trustee, I still think, and I think if you've got a trust, you need to have that discussion and at least look at it, but you need to make sure you've got the right independent trustee at the end of the day. I think that's the answer.
Yeah, completely agree.